hour. I will not be having a beard today.
No,
There's too much to do. Too much to do. Oh, heartbeat.
look.
Heartbeat. Boom, boom,
Yeah,
boom,
the heartbeat.
boom, boom.
So we are live on our YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch channels.
Yes, and we're trying to get live on Facebook, but we don't have enough followers.
Hmm.
They're following. They're what follower paywalling us.
Yeah,
Follower walling us.
literally.
Literally. We
Yeah.
gotta have. They said you have to have a certain amount of people before you're allowed to play. So, anyways, we'll get there, right? It's all a progression.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. So this month we're talking about AI-driven solutions for business challenges, and we're gonna talk. We're talking about it bit by bit. Our vision is to make the world a better place, one solution at a time. So for today's session, oh, you know what I keep forgetting, Laura?
Hmm. What?
Our names. I'm Eric, by the way.
Oh, you're right.
Every week, I just
Uh,
start talking, and they're like, "Who are
who
these
is
crazy
this
people?"
guy?
Yeah, right.
Well, I do put it on the description in the YouTube channel, but you're right. We never say it. Um,
Yeah, Eric here, Erick Barreat. I'm the founder um, of DevTech. I don't like titles. That's why I hesitate on the title
mhm.
part. I just want to act. I just want to provide value, and then we have a team that provides value as well. And then Laura,
and,
you
and and
introduce yourself.
you and you wear many hats. So
We all do.
it,
It's a small
yeah,
business.
yes. And so this is Laura. I am on the marketing department. So I do a
She was
lot of the.
voluntold for that.
Uh,
Laura's an engineer.
yeah. So thank you, Eric. I think that acknowledging that we are always on the road of, getting to expand our knowledge. I have always loved marketing since a long time ago. I think I remember being so interested about a generator of content ideas like 10 years ago. That was like amazing. I thought some couple of keywords were, and just the evolution of all of that and how we have come to this new world of a lot of content and everything is is amazing. And so uh yeah, so I embarked in this marketing role and I'm loving it. I think there are a lot of things that I still get like hesitant on, what is this, and I need to go back to, whoa, the drawing board again. But we have a team of developers and designers, and obviously there are, um, one can hold all of the cards, so that's why we complement each other with our strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah. So Laura's smart, and I trust her to do the marketing.
Yeah. Well, it's just about creating the smart goals thing, right? The
Exactly.
mentality. Yeah, you just
Exactly.
do with your constraints. So yes.
Absolutely. So yeah, let's dive into today's session, right? Unless there's anything else you want to talk about.
Mm, nope, nope. I thought, well, it was. I did struggle to find a good transition into what a business challenge could be, but this is one that is giving itself momentum, right? Like information security is
Well,
a
it's just harder
huge
now with
topic.
AI.
Hmm.
AI brings a lot of great things, but also AI brings a lot of challenges that we
Hmm.
now have to um, battle
Correct.
that we didn't have to battle before. Like,
Hmm.
are you real? Right? So now
Yes.
we don't know what's real.
I
It could be
love that joke.
voice.
Have you seen that meme that says,
Oh, there's so
uh,
many.
Yeah, there's so many about you being a human. And it just says, now apparently I'm a human if I know what a freaking mattress is. Oh
Oh,
my goodness.
like we have to do capture. We have to do real life capture challenges to make sure
Yes,
that the people we're talking to are humans.
are humans. Yeah, so it's true. It's true, but on the same way, I mean, we are, you know how the balance of those two tasks, because you also do want to be on the side of having to deal with a lot of less of the things to do, because you want to implement automation. But then in the automation process, then you are battling on that side of, you can't really be making this stuff, and it's so like this I don't know
Some form
how
of
to call.
balance needs to be reached,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
but you need to know the limit of one to know what that balance is going to be, right?
Yeah, and we are swimming through that.
Well, I feel like I've made the journey and I'm walking back, right?
Yeah.
Like I've been to the edge. I mentioned that like last time, right? I feel like I've been to the edge and I've looked around and I said, "You guys can keep going that way. I'm gonna go back to society, uh, and
Just
and
keep
and
swimming.
and what I it's a swim
Yeah.
and it's a path and it's a long journey. But now that I've been talking to more people and seeing what their challenges are and understanding where their businesses are today,
Mhm.
you know, the biggest problem here is the data. Is like, do we have the right systems? Do we have the right data? And you're gonna hear me continuously repeat that.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, and you're gonna see it in the news, right? That's why they're investing billions of dollars into data centers, because they've realized that there's not enough data, and the amount of data that's required, we don't have enough space for.
Yep.
And so it's a preparation of, they're building the cart before the horse. And because once the horse is attached to the cart, it's going to go fast.
Yeah.
And so it's a preparation of that. So right, the data centers are the carts, literally, that store all of the
Mhm.
data, and AI is the horse, and that's what we're getting ready for here. So today
Mhm.
we're going to talk about how that affects security, right, from a data security perspective, for small business owners, um, and then those that need to stay compliant. Um, you know, zero trust is probably the best approach for all of these. There's a lot of methodologies. Zero trust is the best one universally, but it's also a headache. I was actually talking to Alvin yesterday, because it's like
It-
everything we have log into has a zero trust architecture, and we need authentication codes, and we need to verify on our phones. It sends us the codes, then after we send the code, then we have to go approve it on another device to say that that's who we are in order to let us in. um,
yes.
which we know we
It's the
have to
best
do,
approach.
is
Yeah.
the best approach to be secure.
Yeah.
And we were talking about yesterday, Albin was saying like, damn it, I have to do all these things. It takes, because it takes time, right? It takes
Yeah.
time to open up your authenticator, review,
Yeah.
and so he's like, dang it, I'm gonna get a security key, one of those UV keys and stuff like that you plug into you plug into your devices, and automatically you should be authenticated, right? Because it's a physical device key. Um, and then it's funny that I told, because I've already thought about these things. It's like, oh, I need one of earlier on, like a couple years ago, I was like, I need to get a UV key, and then I really thought about it, and I'm like,
Uh,
I'm gonna
I'm
lose
gonna
it.
lose it. Unless I plug it into an AirTag. Dang it. And then where's my phone? Oh my goodness.
Yep, and so that's why I don't
Uh,
have a UV key.
yeah, it's like an
I would
endless
rat.
loop. Yeah.
Yeah,
I get it.
I would rather just spend the time on
Mm-hmm.
the zero trust authentication procedures and just do it, because I would waste way more time
Mm-hmm.
if I needed to get somewhere and I lost my UV key.
Yeah.
And it's something of importance and I can't, right?
Yeah. So I thought of a joke for my gender, which is with a disclaimer. I know I'm a woman, but I was
Are
raised
you?
with, yeah. So I identify as one. And my disclaimer is please do not get offended. But if you're just a woman, it's like we cannot be on the side of a zero trust policy because we are also very nurtured. And so
Yes.
I saw this meme about why would it take for women to get everything in pink color and be in peace in the world. This is why we're not leaders, right? And so everyone would pinky promise. We all wear pink on Wednesdays. I mean, the zero trust woman, the zero trust is not a woman, is an ego thing. Is something that I can't really define in with words, I guess. But it's something needed. Yes, I don't think that I speak to high level things like defense and security, national security, and all of that. That's not what I'm saying. But it almost feels like we need to get on that. We need to build that trust for in many different things, from our relationships to countries, right? From
Everything
relationships
needs more
to
trust,
society
everything more
to, yeah,
confidence.
yeah. So relationships, like your partner, then you have your partners at work, then you have your partners in your community, then you have your community government, then you have government and institutions, then you have institutions and countries, and then you have the whole thing.
But
It
who do you
just,
trust?
yeah. So, yeah. So it's a complex thing. It's trust, and trust is super, super
Complicated.
complicated. Yep. So that was my
And that's
joke.
and that's where
No,
the zero trust comes. Where's the I didn't where was the joke?
the joke is like if women were trusted with the zero trust policy of the world being in peace, we will all wear pink on Wednesdays.
Oh, that was okay.
Because we're so nurturing, we wouldn't really have this issue. And I'm not saying to blame it on you, right? This is
It's
not
all my
about
fault.
gender. Yeah, but we live in a society
I'll wear
that,
pink.
yeah, we can't really be pinky promising here. But I do pinky promise with my partner. So it's like, where are we going? Where was I going with
What are
this
we
thought?
gonna eat?
Just leave it like that. That was my
Right.
joke.
There you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll talk about some key challenges, and then we'll talk about some owner insights.
Yeah, on the
And then
serious.
yeah, and then um, we have some announcements that we would like to make, and so
Yeah.
and share that with you, and so that's today's session. So let's get the show on the road.
Yep.
Oh man, so
Yeah.
that
Big
zero trust
words.
data protection (CTDP). I've
Mm.
never heard anybody say any of that.
We're supposed to
um,
be advancing towards it.
yes, yes, everybody needs to do it.
Yeah.
Um, Never trust, always verify, right? I've heard
Hmm.
that since the beginning of my career. Of even one of the issues was um, with employees and computers, right?
Oof.
And employee monitoring. Are employees being proactive or productive um, on their company devices? Are they doing the work, right? Um, so I think that's where this zero trust kind of came from, because we need to validate the effort of all the work that's being done, right? Because that itself can cause inflation, right? If nobody knows the effort that it really takes to do something and the cost to do something,
Mm-hmm.
then
It gets undervalued
or overvalued,
or overvalued. Exactly.
right? So that's where if you have a really niche product, I use the example of um, the diabetes drug where it was being held ransom
Mm-hmm.
for capital, right? It was extremely expensive, and it was because the owners of the drug wanted to
Mm-hmm.
keep it expensive. We're the only ones that have this drug, and so we're going to um, capitalize on that, right? So it's
Yeah.
it's all kind of related, right? This never trust but always verify kind of concept that you can use that in any type of environment. And so let's talk about
Yep. What is it? I know. I did come across these pillars, which were last released in July. I didn't get the NIST version, which was a shame because they haven't updated for a while. So this just had like a couple of years in difference, and they added like I think it was two pillars, but it almost feels the same as the one that we've been using, like in the past.
Yeah, and I think that this is also an experience thing because a newer technologist
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't necessarily have the experience to understand why this is, but they'll know what it is, right? Like it's kind of like a common sense thing, right? If you look at
Mm-hmm.
the user, how they log in, well, we need to verify that that's the user. If it's a
Yep.
device, we need to verify that that's the device. If it's an application or a workload or data, all of this stuff, we need to verify that they have the privilege to be able to do the things that they're trying to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's permissions. So, right, there's no trust on the actual user's devices or applications because we don't know what's real.
It's kind of scary, that
Bef-
statement, but
yeah,
but
before
yeah.
AI, yeah, before AI, you can spin up virtual machines. You can spin
Mm-hmm.
up virtual computers. You can spin up if you got the resources. You can spin up millions,
Mm-hmm.
thousands of
Yeah.
virtual machines
Uh,
that can do things at your will. Right. That's why you have um, denial of service. Like that happens to websites and applications all the time because they're
mhm.
trying. There's these people that have these resources that want to shut some stuff down, right?
Yeah, or inflated, like you said. Like it almost it adds no value, but the value, like I see the most common example of these I see from the perspective of, and we all will have lived it, right? It's like the farming of likes and the ego builder um type of, I don't know how to call it. It's almost like a rush to get a lot of likes and those things that aren't really worth it,
Yeah,
but they are profitable. I'm thinking
yeah.
for some platforms, right? I'm not
No,
saying it's the correct thing to do, but I'm just saying it's just not the right pathway.
yeah. I mean, there's so I'll use games as an example because it's the
Mm-hmm.
easiest one to conceptualize, right? And I'll use World of Warcraft as an example because it's a huge game. It has potentially millions of users worldwide that play it. Um, and it has an entire market of bots, of robots that play to
Chat.
win. To No, they don't even chat.
No?
They're used to get
And
in-game resources to sell to real people for real
NPS,
money.
NPS robots.
What?
What's it called to the character that lives in the game but has is no user?
RP. Oh,
Oh,
NPC.
NPCs. Oh my goodness, it's like NPC jobs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
literally. So
literally.
literally, yeah. So these organizations around the world, and there's videos around them, and they're like a mafia, right? Like they are
Yeah.
organized. It's explicitly against the rules to do that because it's not the way that the game was intended to be played,
Yes.
and so it's just it's not just it's they're just breaking the rules,
Mm-hmm.
but they're making money from it, and it's a
Yeah.
multi-million-dollar industry.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Now,
that's
this
where
is
it's like you don't trust users, you trust devices or applications. And the thing is, I'm like thinking like, why don't they just apply a zero trust user experience for people that play the game?
right. Mm-hmm. It's like get your yeah, yep. I see. The thing is that when you think in terms of on and off for all of these things that have happened, are happening, like in the past and are now part of our lives. When you think of the off button, I think it would just reset the whole world in a way that we are not eh, meant
That's
to
I've
meant to live, and many people's bubbles would burst in a way that would be financially awful, and I get it. But I just
yeah.
think that while reaching that point, it just makes sense for many other people to have the opportunity. It's almost like if that gap is just too huge to even interpret or have a idea. Like in my mind, it's just
Yeah,
like
a lot of people
that
are
would be
just too
awful.
afraid to start over,
Yeah.
right? They spent all of these years building all of this platform
Mm-hmm.
when it's like if you started over, you've already learned from all of your past experience.
Yeah.
You can start over and it'll be better. Starting over you'll always end up better than where you were before.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, like from a user perspective, recognizing their patterns, right? Making sure that it's like that user never does that. That's a red flag, right? Or it's like, why, right? You start thinking, why? Well, that device has never been in our network ever. Why, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
An
it,
outlier.
yeah, it's everything. It just goes to show that everything is important
Mm-hmm.
because everything feeds into everything else. And as you can see here, and everybody talks about pillars. And everybody
Mm-hmm.
talks about, oh, I have these three pillars, or here are the six pillars for zero trust, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what are pillars? They hold things up. Without them, things crawl. And then
Mm-hmm.
if you're missing one pillar, your infrastructure is weaker, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's all important. Yeah, right. So what is the zero trust framework, right? Making sure that users, devices, and applications always verify that they have access and permissions, that these users, devices, and applications have the least privilege access, right?
Mm-hmm.
They only have the minimum that they need to do the most of what they do. And if they need more,
Yeah.
then it's why.
When
And
when
their
I
role is changing.
Yeah, so I remember having this conversation with someone super, like, I think he was just a recent graduate on cybersecurity, And he said, but who would you trust with what the least privileged access is, and why? I mean, there goes all of the things that we have invented to give someone a profile in question too. So it's almost like, but who do you think you are to say you are the one, holding on to the more privilege? And it just goes on and on in a cycle. Like, I didn't know we were gonna get all philosophical here, but he said, but it's true. I'm learning this as we go, and I think that younger generations are very receptive to this idea of having to trust, the more knowledgeable, and we just don't, like, and I'm talking we because I don't know, but I do necessarily think that I do want to know how's that grade going, because it's not like, am I ever going to be considered a high knowledgeable trust, agent, whatever that thing is. So it's like, this is like endless, because it's almost like
It's always evolving.
governance.
Hmm.
It's governance. So it's a complicated subject. Um,
Yeah, and then we need continuous monitoring, and that's where AI comes into play because it used to be before, just like regular security guards, you need
mhm,
them there 24/7.
exactly.
And it's a physical eye that's there, a physical thing, person that's there that is continuously monitoring and checking things and making sure that things are still locked, right? They physically check making sure things are locked. Um, and so you have users, devices, and applications. Everybody has the least amount of privilege to just get the job that they need to do done. You have continuous monitoring to making sure that they're not doing anything that is out of the regular. The context aware part of the security involves everything else: continuous
Mhm.
monitoring, least privilege access, and that never trust. Because what the context now is like, you know, the permissions that they have, you know, the user behavior, you know where they are, and you can think of all the potential risks that come with that user, device, or application, right? So now that's where AI is probably going to be help doing the most help in that perspective, because there's for I'm talking about volume. I'm not saying a
Mhm.
person can't do this. A
Mhm.
person has been doing this for decades. I mean, they've been since there's always been a security, that's why there's cybersecurity analysts,
Yeah,
cybersecurity, the whole,
gatekeepers.
there's
Mhm.
always been gatekeepers that are reviewing and
Mhm.
looking what everybody's doing. But it is just now accelerating that to where, dude, these people are always tired because they have to stay vigilant. And now
Yeah.
AI can come in and kind of support them and now give them alerts of like, hey, red flag, red flag, red flag, look at these things. And obviously they're still looking at other things, but it's it's
I,
doing more with less.
would it I think one of the main things that I learned from, there's this book from Ray Dalio called Principles. He goes on to many subjects, because he's a huge hedge fund, whatever, I don't know how to call it,
Hedge fund
sorry.
investor.
Yeah, thank you. So what he goes to conclude is, one of the most difficult things that we will face within the next years would be having to deal with transparency. And so he just goes on a full transparency mode when explaining what it would take. Uh, and I just don't think that a lot of people are ready, or even under what would everyone think on a moral scale basis about the profiling of someone is still something that is not, like, is, are you saying who you think who you are, or who you think you are, or who? He just goes like and I just went onto. I guess that just struck me the most.
Yeah.
The word transparency is not on any of the frameworks. There's obviously not going to be this on the table for a long time, but it's out there in the way that like Ray Dalio. I don't know the guy, but he must be like so somewhat
He's got a lot of smart people around him.
exactly. It's a smart people perspective, and wow, I thought that was impressive.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sorry, just making some changes here. All right. And so, yeah, then, so you have all of the things. You have context aware security. Hopefully, you have AI assisting you with that. And then you have segmentation, right? That's where you have multiple rooms and only certain
Mm-hmm.
people are able to see what's in those rooms, and see that data and see certain fields. And so that's probably what your data security analyst is going to spend most of his time doing, is either creating these segmentations, monitoring these segmentations, or archiving these segmentations, right? So it's a continuous process. So security is a 24/7, 7 days a week,
Yep.
365 um,
Thank you, AI.
a portion. And so this is probably where it's going to AI is going to get provide the most value for cybersecurity, because AI is being used to circumvent security, right?
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yep.
So I want to actually talk about the picture here. So we have the user continually authenticate access, right, and monitor user activity patterns to govern users' access and privileges while protecting and securing all interactions. Then we have the device, understand the health and status of devices to inform risk decisions, right? Real-time inspection, assessment, and patching informs every access request. Then you have the application and workload. So you got to make sure you secure everything from applications to hypervisors. So hypervisors are like clusters of application, clusters of servers. It's like a um, it's like a huge mail delivery of it's taking in a request and automatically sending. So that's essentially what how to explain hypervisors from that perspective.
It's just a supervisor with like a lot of pair of air of eyes.
Exactly. It's an octopus.
Yeah, ooh, that's a nice way to say it too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it has a lot of arms.
Yeah.
And so we use those to include the protection of containers and virtual machines. And then you have the data, right? Data transparency and visibility is enabled and secured by enterprise infrastructure application standards. And then we have those end-to-end encryption and data tagging. And so then we have network and environment, right? We need to segment and isolate and control physical and logical networks in the environment, and granular policies to manage the control. Who's allowed in these networks, right? Then you automate the security response based off defined processes, and then the security policies enabled by AI. So now you have blocking actions or
Volume.
forcing.
Hmm.
Exactly. This is where things now start to get too big, and you need
Yep.
automation and some form of AI orchestration to now do actions on what's happening,
Hmm.
and then also make sure that we're making the best decisions. And then at the end, we have the visibility and analytics. So we got to make sure we have the data to review and analyze those events and activities and behaviors and derive the context. And this is where we can apply AI or machine learning to get a highly personalized model that improves detection and reaction time in real time. So very important. So you, if you want to truly implement a zero trust infrastructure, you have to do all of these things, and it's a lot of work.
Mhm. Yes. So nice, right? All of it.
Yes, yes,
What's
yes.
next?
So here are the pillars. So there's 7 pillars. So this user security, it enforces strong identity management. The device security authenticates and makes sure that the device has access. Network and environment security. So now you have the data flow, the traffic flow, and the
Where?
segmentation of the networks.
Hmm.
Where is the device connected?
Hmm.
Essentially, that device can tell you where that user is, right? So why is that a device that's outside of the data center trying to do something, a protocol, where it should that needs to be done within the data center, right? So um,
Red
and
flag.
then a red flag, and then we have the user says that they're inside of the data center, but the device is outside of the data center. Their phone is inside of the data center, but their company
What you
computer
doing over there?
is
What you
outside of the network. So
doing?
it's all important, right?
Yeah.
It gives you context as to.
Hmm.
And anyways, I can go into the network where they're using Wi-Fi signals to like map out areas, right?
Hmm.
And they're using
Yeah.
like you can they can literally recreate 3D simulations of areas just by using Wi-Fi radios, right? Um, and so
A lot of
that
the super surveillance, I think, high super surveillance. This is where transparency is key, right? Because you know what? Just yesterday, when we were discussing about what my computer was messed up, and you said the word paranoid, I just went like, I am not, but
but yes.
but I am. Yeah, thank you. So it was like it was an acknowledgement of something that I might have, that not done before. But it was like, I don't like this. I don't like not even feeling like it or nothing. It just felt like it was disrupting my day to day, and I am not a. I'm very productive. I feel like I should be working with my computer in a very seamlessly way. So if it's
It's your
not working
workbench.
properly, yeah, it's like this is my buddy. So if my buddy's not feeling well, I hate it. So it's not like about feeling paranoid or anything. It was just about feeling paranoid because it wasn't working well. So I bet every user is just trying to do their job. Like, have you seen that meme of like who is going to log into my Microsoft to do my job? I
Right?
thought that's hilarious.
Yeah, that's a
Why am I
pretty
need to
secure.
worry about getting my emails read?
What are they
I
gonna do if they hack the credit card company? What, they're gonna pay the bill?
oh, that's just it. It's too bad we're saying this, but it's a joke. I hope
Yeah,
everybody understands it's a joke.
yeah.
Okay.
Um, then we have the actual data security, right? Well, why are you using the network? Because you're trying to access some data. Um, we Protection of the encryption and access control of the data. Then you have to secure the applications that the data is being um, I'm trying to think of the word. The application is the interface in which the data is being requested and supplied. So we need to secure the application, and then we got to make sure that we maintain that workload, right, and that visibility. What requests, what actions are being done, that they're being logged, and then we need to make sure that we have those analytics, right, in one. Maybe not centralized, they can be segmented as well, but you need to be able to analyze those threats. And then you want to make sure that once you have those security policies in place and you have that governance, you want to automate that as much as possible, because that's going to accelerate your detection protocols to be able to detect those threats, right? So that's where that threat detection is really important. So what's next? So everything, right? That's why they're called pillars, because it's foundational, right?
Mhm.
So you need to prepare, right? Inventory those policies and processes. And then from a basic level, convert those policies into some form of machine readable format.
The famous data.
The data. Automate, right? Those critical processes once you have a good, right? It's kind of what I feel like I've told you this journey already, right?
Yeah, we
Make sure
went
you
through
have
this.
all of this. So
Mm-hmm.
this is just from the NSA. So this is
Yep.
what the NSA, if you want to measure your preparedness compared to the
Mm-hmm.
NSA standards, then you can kind of pick which pillar do you belong in, right? Are you, or do you have basic security protocols? Are your protocols more advanced, right? Because you have some automation workflows and playbooks with AI, right? To review some of those risks.
Yep.
And so, yeah, it's all a telling journey.
Yep. So how is everyone adoption of AI? Where's everyone's journey? This is this is where my very first pitch is on. If there are no questions, we provide a free AI audit, which means it's just your first step into knowing where is your company, where does it stand, and we pretty much do what we do for every type of project that we handle, which is strategize, plan, and execute. And I call it AI growth partnership only because it's always a journey. This is a long term goal for any type of business. If you're trying to create a bakery, anything, just any entrepreneur that is just trying to get their sales out there to be able to sustain a passion, because at the end of the day everyone is doing what they are wanting to be doing in terms of how to distribute their talents. I feel like I only mentioned bakery because I recently, when we were just going through the design of some of our clients, I saw an entire website dedicated on how to make websites for bakery shops.
Awesome.
And I just went like, and for every idea that they had was just amazing. And I think that the journey for everyone going into that website is just, um,
Share
like a,
share with me that website, because
oh, I might
I have
have
a
lost
couple of
it.
friends.
Really?
Yeah, I have
I
a friend who owns a bakery, and they're
they
small business, so it would be great
Oh
to
yeah,
share that with
I
me.
thought it was perfect for any small business. I would need to dig into my Pinterest. I It's a shame I didn't save it, but it was just between the. I'll need to dig into it. But
Yeah.
this is our approach. We go in. I thought we have a designer that does this for our clients, and that journey alone, it by itself is just pretty much very, it's awesome. I think that there are some things that I enjoy that many more people would be like, um, nobody cares, but we do care. So you're not in this journey alone, and we help you strategize. I think that's
Yeah.
amazing.
So here's the thing with the zero trust is that it involves everything that you do. The
Yes,
users, your application, your network. So there's not just one
it's
product
you.
that can solve it all, right? It's really
Yeah.
for you,
Hmm.
because the systems don't trust you.
Yeah.
um,
Exactly. That's how they are designed by us. But
exactly.
I put on this note of this
It's a
keynote for,
strategy.
yeah, I put on this note from this guy. I thought his conclusions were really on point as to it specifically that, like, there is no one way out only. There's just a journey and an insight of.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of challenges here, right? So, how do you identify non-human users, right? That's hard. You have once you start building automation, that's hard. Then you have, do you have a unified point of system, or do you have segmented unified systems, or how do you trust that? Then there's the data classification, and then there's like the incident response in a zero trust model. So how do you do all that, right? So those are all things that need to be discussed, that there's not one solution for, because every organization is a little bit different, but they're very similar challenges. And I'm going fast, guys, because I
Oh,
we're
you
getting
have to
at the end
move
of the hour.
on.
Yeah,
Yes.
I have to head out. So just real quickly, next week, March 12th, from 12 to 1, um, we do have a workshop on the importance of a written information security plan. And so I'll be doing that with our friends at the Small Business Development Center. And so I hope to see all of you guys, or as many folks there, to learn about how you can protect your information and how to create a plan for it.
Yep.
Is a journey, not a product.
Yeah. Conclusions now. So, is a journey, not a problem. And I thought it, yeah, see, it's not about the network perimeter. This is what I like. Security beyond. Oh, I missed some words over there. I wonder if I can pull them out from my notes.
No worries. No worries. But yeah, if there's anybody that needs any assistance with these types of architecture, we are here for you. And so thank you for listening to us today. I know that there was probably a lot of information here. Sorry that was kind of rushed. Um, I can't keep the client waiting any longer. If you need to get in touch with us, please contact us at info@edevtech.com or visit us on our website. Give us a call, 832-937-9622. This is Eric and your co-host Laura, and we'll see you next
Goodbye.
Tuesday. Take care. Bye. All right, I got a jet. Bye.
Yeah, you gotta goodbye.